Hey guys, okay, so now we dive in and really start looking at what it takes to start building your Instagram account and really start into the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be doing. We have to decide our niche, we have to decide what we're going to be, how we're going to structure our page and all that. But before we do that, we want to know what we want to name our page, right?
And we have to decide what are we going to what's the face of our account going to be, the branding.
Right, exactly. So if you look at big pages like Think, Grow, Prosper or Millionaire Mentor or Founder, their username is usually very clean and is directly relatable to what they want their account to be. Obviously, if you have a personal account, if you have a personal brand, more than likely you're going to use your name. My personal page is Josh40.
Mine is
Itzosuepena. Has your name in it, is going to be directly related to you. However, if you're creating any other type of page besides a personal account, you're going to want to have that username be about that page and really create a compelling and clean, sharp username. Now, one thing that a lot of people often consider, and we're also going to go into a little bit on this video, is your username on Instagram might be available on Instagram, but if you ever plan to expand, you might want to consider getting that username across all platforms, including your website, like a .com. So for example, if I name my, page Supercars 101, supercars101.com might not be available, or Supercars 101 on Snapchat or on other social media platforms or pages online might not be available. So you'll definitely want to check into that, and we're going to touch on that in just a minute.
And something that we really, really recommend everyone doing is taking the time to research and brainstorm your brand name. Your brand name is really important, and as you grow, obviously people are going to fall in love with your content, but the brand name that they're going to remember is the brand name that you put before. So if your name is crappy, you're going to have to be stuck for it for life.
Right.
And people are going to remember that crappy name. People are going to say, oh, they post amazing content, they give me amazing value. They say, yeah, but I don't really like their name. But I follow them anyways, but I don't really like the name. Like, that's, you want everything to be as perfect as possible and strive to the best thing as possible. So it's something that people struggle a lot when it comes to branding.
Absolutely. You want to make sure it's clean, it's sharp, it doesn't look spammy at all. And one thing I think a lot of people mess up on, especially people that are just getting into the Instagram account space, is they use numbers in their username. And very rarely do numbers work. If the numbers have a specific meaning, and I don't mean your birthday or a special day to you, but if they actually have a specific meaning. For example, say if Jeff Gordon were to have a page, his race car is 24. So, or Peyton Manning 18. If someone already had the username Peyton Manning could go Peyton Manning 18 and it would make sense. That's his number. So in very limited cases do numbers work. Be very, very careful before you would use numbers. If you really, really like a username, say you really, really liked Millionaire Mentor. The username's already taken, but do not go and say Millionaire Mentor 1. I mean, it just looks so trashy. You want to make sure your username is very, very clean. So first things first, do not use numbers unless they are directly relatable. And I mean very, very relatable to your account, because it just looks so crappy and it looks like you don't know what you're doing. So that's the first thing.
Yeah, the second thing is also try to be consistent across all platforms, including .com, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, everywhere. You want to have a username that is not taken anywhere. If it's taken somewhere, you might want to consider using another one, because if you plan on expanding, and you probably are, because you probably wanted to get into Instagram to build a business, earn money, make a living, you want to have everything across the board and have everything available.
Yeah, so. And I'm not saying like if it's a perfect username and only it's taken one place but everything else is available, go ahead and use it. But what I'm trying to say is if it's taken every single place except for Instagram, more than likely that person's going to be trying to get it on Instagram shortly. You're going to be competing with them on other platforms. If they have really crap content on those platforms, when people go to search you elsewhere, they're going to go, oh man, this is just nasty. So you want to make sure that you're consistent across all platforms. The next thing is branding versus being romantic about your brand. You don't want to be too romantic about your brand name unless you already have a company, right? If you have a company that's up and running and you want to now put them online, then obviously you want the name of your page to be your company name if at all possible. However, if you have a really good name in your head, like let's just say Supercars of London, for example. Let's say you're from London and you want to take pictures of supercars, awesome cars that you see in London. Supercars of London is already taken. It's a huge page. Don't try to make every little variation of Supercars of London. Don't be so romantic about that thing that you have to stick to that, because there are a lot of other good usernames out there, and people will notice if you try to modify or whatever to try and copy a page. Don't go millionaire.mentor because millionaire_mentor is already taken. I mean, it's not going to have the effect that you want. People are going to realize what you're trying to do, and it's really not worth it. Also, if it's not your personal brand, if it's not your personal brand, if it's not your personal page, leave your name out of it. Nobody cares if it's Josh's Supercars. They don't know who I am. And like we talked about earlier, you have to separate your business or your brand page from your personal page. All right, so make sure that you leave your personal name out of it unless it is a personal page. Leave numbers out of it and don't get too romantic with it. Be willing to change it up and modify it to fit what you need.
Yeah, and now we're gonna show you a tool that we personally use that gives us absolutely everything. It gives us the .com, it gives us all the social media if it's available, and it even gets you the trademark to see if the brand name is already trademarked. So here we're gonna dive into it right now.
Yep. All right, guys, so this is called namecheck.com, and it's NAMECHK.com. And what this is, and it's gonna look a little bit different on a computer than it is on a phone, but if you go to namecheck.com, the very first thing that's gonna pop up is find an available username. So let's just pretend I wanted to build a personal brand and do josh40.com. Scroll up here, josh40, and hit go. It is going to tell me down here, it's available on YouTube, it's available on Google+, Twitch, Reddit, eBay, things like that, but places where it's not available. I have it on Facebook, I have it on Twitter, I have it on Instagram, I have it on Pinterest, I have it on Vine. I have it a lot of these different places. Now, I probably should get it on WordPress and probably should get it on a couple other of these places. But if you were going to build a personal page and your name was Josh40, you're going to probably have to switch it up just slightly or think of a different way to go about doing this, because you can't have josh40.com. Now, say you wanted to build a page that said it was,
cars.com.
Cars.com. Cars, I apologize. Just cars. Yeah, pretty much taken everywhere. Why? Because it's ridiculously popular and you're never going to be able to get something off of that. But let's say that you had
Cars of Dominican Republic.
Cars of the DR. Oops. Cars of the DR.
Search again.
Search again. Go. Look at that. It is available everywhere. And you can see that because all these are still available. They're not crossed out. They don't have that blur over them to say, it was taken. So you could literally go, hey, look, click on them all. I can have it on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Blogger, Google+, Twitch, Pinterest, Yelp, PayPal, all those places. The only places taken is Vine. So this would be a very, very good place to go ahead and start if you wanted to. If you're from the Dominican Republic, you wanted to do a car page, Cars of the DR would be a great way to start your brand, start your business there. Why? Because it's available across all of those platforms. So it's just something to keep in mind. Use namecheck.com. They're a pretty reliable source. I don't think we've ever had an error with them being wrong as far as what's available and what's not. Namecheck.com, log into that. Just remember, don't be too romantic about everything. Don't be too set on a username. Change it up. Be willing to modify it. And let's say, for example, you're an Instagram guru and you have 5 or 6 different accounts and they're all similar. For example, me, I have a Focus Mentality page. It's focus_mentality. I also have a bunch of other pages with that same style. So romantic underscore mentality, quotes underscore mentality, and several other pages with that underscore mentality at the end. There have been ones that I want that are taken. Food underscore mentality, fashion underscore mentality. Those are taken, and I wasn't able to get my hands on them. Now, obviously, I'm actively working to try and get them because I want them to be consistent with my brand, but I'm having to switch up it up a little bit, come up with a completely new name, and take a different approach to it. What I am not doing is going food underscore mentality yum, or yummy food underscore mentality. I'm not trying to be so romantic with it that I am, modifying the name just slightly in order to make it work. I'm having to rethink, take a step back and think, okay, how can I still get the message of food across with still using that same consistency of one word underscore mentality? And sometimes you just have to do that approach. Be willing to step back, look at the big picture and go, what's another way I can approach this? So just think about that. Be very aware of what's going on when choosing your username.
All right.
We'll see you in the next lesson.